Hello and welcome to Sim Strategy Gaming. I'm Sim. This episode will be about the 8th scenario of Railway Empire 2, the Flying Scotsman. We are back in England with the mission objective to build an express line to Scotland. There are some competitors here, but we will do fine on this quite generous map with many cities close together and relatively flat terrain. First, looking at our mission objectives, we see that we're going to deliver some lumber to London, grow it, and then achieve an express status between London and York. In the first part, this will be sort of easy. This is a sort of an easy scenario, and we will do fine. Looking at tech, we find ourselves sort of in the middle of the game. A lot of we have the access to this super nice mixed terrain over here, which will serve most purposes. They also had the Hulda, the express train, but this is really so good. It has higher attractive power and just a little bit lower speed, and for most part we will go for this. The Dragon as well, also a very nice freight train. There are a couple of these really nice techs further on back that one should really take care of, particularly this one. And to see that there are a couple of bond techs around here, and watch out for them and other ones. And then later on one can go for this more powerful freight trains, but we already have a good freight train. We're not using that much freight train, so we can leave this for later. This one is super fantastic, but that's so late into the game that we most likely would not be able to achieve it and get that far. We will have our usual start, buy up a few concessions to get access to all these connection bonuses. We were able now on this map to complete both the circle and a line here. Building on each side of the competitor is sort of the solution here, and not to build too many bridges. Bridges are not only expensive, but they are also making for poorer tracks. So just build one on each side, and then one can have a warehouse in between later if there is need to ship goods from one side to the other. Passengers will just travel easily by themselves, so that is absolutely no problem. And then also to have this circle now fully completed with 2 tracks going in each direction, like this, connected with gridirons, and then to have trains going in each direction. Not so many trains to begin with, but it will take a little bit of time to deploy, and then in the meantime we will have connection bonuses coming in, and then we can fill it up very fast, very quickly, and then also build the maintenance depots and supply depots later on. We haven't really gotten around to that, but see now the connection bonuses are coming in. And so then, a year later, we've been able to build quite a lot, expanded upon this circle that we already had, just left that intact, and then built another circle going around here, which makes us achieve our mission objectives. Having a quick look at that, we can see that we were able to kind of quickly grow London and then connect the city of Plymouth. We already had that line underneath the southern line, the south of London line, and to Bristol, and then we just extended that further on to Plymouth. No challenges there. And then to transfer all these passengers, it takes some time to transfer 640 passengers, and they must be direct. And having a quick look at that, we see that here in London, what is going on here. It's very important to check not only the flow of goods and the supply and demand, but also most profitable, the express goods, the passengers and the mail. Where are they going? So having a look at this, we see we are in London, and then we're going to York via Cambridge. And that doesn't count for our mission objective. So what is really going on here? Well, there are these 2 circles inside one another. So then the inner circle, it doesn't go all the way up to York. It just goes to Cambridge. Cambridge will be the first stop. So these passengers here on this line, or rather it's twin, this line, these passengers aboard this train here, they will now go to Cambridge and then jump off the train and jump onto the next line here and then be further transported all the way north up to York. So they don't count. But the other, these ones, the ones that are over here, that is not going in a circle, but are going directly, they count. And also the ones that are going in the bigger circle, they also count. Not the ones going in that direction, but the ones going in this direction. See now? They are going directly London, Cambridge. So keep that in mind. It has to be direct in order to achieve these mission objectives without changing trains. But you can still have one changing trains, but they don't count. But you still get rich from them, and that's always a good thing. Further on, reach 50,000 citizens in York. That was my main difficulty on this map. I didn't pay enough heed to that, how difficult that would be. I'm just kind of used to that cities just grow by themselves if we connect them to enough circles. But then York here, what's going on here? It's lagging behind kind of a lot. And then further on, it will require to have milk and vegetables and fruit coming from down here. And then the problem that I didn't really recognize in the beginning is that fruit and vegetable are way too little supply. And it would be, even though I have proper routes, say Cambridge and then straight up to York, I thought that was going to be fine with at least the fruit and the vegetables, not fine at all. Because the fruit spreads out here quickly to the other cities as well, and they eat it all up. And then there are not enough left for York. So one way to tackle this would be to buy up these resources and then bump them up a lot. But that's incredibly expensive. And as long as I haven't connected to all cities, I am very reluctant with buying other things, buying industries and such. Connecting all cities first before one does anything else is usually the most profitable. But what one can do, and what I will do later, is to build dedicated express lines here. Not express, dedicated freight lines from with vegetables to the Doyle, to fruit, and picking up the fruit, and then further on to York. And to give that a special delivery to York, since that is an important mission objective. Otherwise, I wouldn't really do that. I let it go into the main lines. It comes in here from different sides, like the sugar down here. Sort of connects onto the main line and then is further on brought back and forth there. And then to achieve this express line, you can see here the last mission objective from London, Edinburgh. Just add upon here, London now has 6 lines, 2 in the inner circle, 2 in the outer circle, and then 1 back and forth going through Cambridge, York, and then up to Edinburgh, and then further on can be extended into Aberdeen for the later missions. That would also come on very nicely. But one point here now, collaborating or competing with the competitor. Even this snide fellow here, this gangster type, come with all these comments and such, we can still collaborate with him. Look now, see that I don't have a connection into Glasgow yet. Didn't have money for that at this point. I've only been playing for 1 year, so money comes in a little bit slow. But still, there are extra passengers now coming all the way from London. In London, we can go to Glasgow through Edinburgh. And there are all these passengers now going to Glasgow, even though we don't have a connection to Glasgow, but they go all the way up to Edinburgh here. And then, of course, they have to pay for that ride. And then we get rich from that. And then there's just the latest little path here, the last path that our competitor are doing. And of course, he's making a lot more money from having us bring a lot of passengers to his stations. But still, it isn't so bad that they are doing fine, even this snide fellow here. It's much more important that we are doing much better. As long as we are doing much better than them, and we are enormously growing, that's the most important thing, because after all, humans are usually better at playing computer games than computers, if you have a bit of practice. But then one thing I wanted to point out as well, it isn't so easy to see what's going on with your competitor. You cannot really go into his stations, and you cannot see so much of his budget and such, but one can look at the trains. See, now they're going really full. But later on, we can try to outsmart him, compete him. Say with Edinburgh, Aberdeen, perhaps we can make a line that is, yes, kind of easily actually. A line from Edinburgh to Aberdeen that is less than 75% of the length of this very long line through Glasgow here. And then non-passengers will go here. And then perhaps you might see that these trains are then running, becoming fewer and fewer wagons. You can also have a look on this competitors here. The ratio between trains in use and wagons in use. Now we got 8 trains and then about 40 wagons, so then say about 5 per train. That is good. Anything less than 3, that's poor. Then you might be losing money actually. If you only have 2, you might lose on that ride. But and here, this fellow, trains in use, wagons in use, only 2 wagons per train. He's definitely losing money. He's becoming less and less valuable all the time. While we are having good ratio. It's kind of hard to have full 8, but say around 5, that brings in good money. Such. Another thing to point out is that one can buy these saboteurs at a later stage after I connected all the cities, and then the best way to use a saboteur would be to benefit yourself. And pretty much the best way to do that is to find your opponent's headquarters. Somewhere around there's a list of headquarters in, say, in Manchester. There's a headquarter here. And then if I had a saboteur now, I could click on his headquarters and then steal his tech. That wouldn't really hurt him, other than his pride. But it would benefit me a lot. And that would be better than to have his tracks stopping for some period or something, I think, at least. Also wanted to point out here down in Plymouth, should one include these resources here on the main line or not? I mean, I could have built a dedicated freight line down to Plymouth and then not have it on the main line. There is no need for it to go on the main line because there are nobody else here needing that in Oxford, but they are not connected directly. And so further on, nothing. So it's not like with the lumber, for example, that sort of is good to have on the main line because it goes in all directions. But still, it's not dumb to have it here. It's just perfectly situated in the middle of the path. And if I didn't have it there, this line would be kind of long. So I would like to have one extra there. It also makes it perhaps easier to build neater, I think, if to have well-placed stations in between. Then, of course, a maintenance depot and such. But then one thing one can do to make this perhaps better is now we are having these stops, and then it's coming from Plymouth and then to Ferrol, picking up the wool, and then now there's no need to pick up wool now. It could pick up wool on the way back at the last stop being Ferrol, and then to Plymouth again. That would be much better. So what if I say were to delete this stop? That would make for a more, perhaps a better line, perhaps more intelligible solution. That's one little trick one can put up. Try to put in some tricks every now and then. And then say with here as well, one train might be too much for just one city, one resource, one city. It's a very short little ride here. And it's not, okay, producing a little bit more now, but in the beginning at least, to be sharing like this, and then one can have the coming up here and going through and back and forth, but one can also connect 2 single lines into a gridiron, and then I can have only one train now that sort of comes from Manchester up to Campbell, down to Liverpool, back to Campbell, and then going back and forth like this all the time, up and down. It's also a little neat trick. And then this train will always be full. Look at the train usage share. We are now becoming red, particularly on the southern line and such. There is too much traffic, and then should one expand this this 2-lane system here into a 4-lane, that wouldn't be very expensive. It would be kind of cheap actually to do that. Perhaps much cheaper than to buying up this concession and develop this area. But still, there is this accumulative effect. As when you connect new cities and such, there will be passengers coming from all of the cities that you already connected will go to just one more new city and then one more new city. So there will be a lot more connections if you already have 19 connected cities and connect one more city. That will be 20 connections for that one city. And that is something to keep in mind. So pretty much connecting and connecting. Rapid expansion would be usually the best. Trying to avoid all kind of obstacles wasn't so easy to avoid this one. So then, but building a nice little thing around here, not connecting just for the sake of connecting. One also has to build systems, but keep on building systems that connect and try to make them cheap. That would perhaps be the best general strategy.
Our line is incredibly popular, and now it's official. We're adopting its popular nickname. The Special Scots Express is dead. Long live the Flying Scotsman. The time has come. Our link between London and Edinburgh is unchallenged, leaving the competition in the dust. Our backers' shares are sitting in an express line to the moon. Oh, and one more thing. Special compliments from our clients. They tell me that we have more than exceeded their expectations.
And so then we made it. Quite a nice score. It could have been even better, but in only 2.2 years. This is, this is nice. So then, but before I say go further on, to look at this. And to see how the trains now are moving on this up and down solution. And sometimes, particularly here with the Holyhead, it wouldn't be really, you can do it like this as well. There's pretty much always the option for doing it both ways, but to have it up and down like this, it might be beneficial. You can see now that it takes some time for the trains to sort of be crisscrossing, and then it wouldn't be so easy for anybody else to be. But still now there are two in at the same time. Depends a little bit, but at least there will always be a lot of available stations there. This is actually just a 2-line system, but on this station it has access to 4 platforms, 4 station platforms, and might be beneficial in many ways. Here we have one of those waiting triangles, kind of annoying, but it's standing there waiting. It hasn't been waiting for that long, but still, try to avoid it. Try to make it have not too much to do, so that it won't bring in the goods after all, but neither too little to do, because that would make for this little warning signs there, causing it to lose money. Looking at the quarterly balance, we can see that we have been steadily making more money. Particularly this giant jump within the 4th and the 3rd quarter, 10 million extra, and almost 10 million later after all. But to expand 1/3, 50% more money from one quarter to another, that comes from this that we decided upon developing this region properly, and then expand all the other lanes properly into becoming a full 4-lane system. One up here, Glasgow, Edinburgh, building over our components infrastructure here. Perhaps I should buy this. I'm so rich now anyways. And then a new one here, Carlisle, Manchester.
But at least it was cheap.
And including Liverpool, kind of a neat little solution here to go outside like this all the way. It looks really, I think quite good. This one almost looks a little bit too much from here, from this carrot resource. just picking up the carrots and bringing it down to this, just the closest point to the warehouse here, and then it will be brought on further. See, perhaps if somebody's nobody's picking it up right now, but it will be picked up very soon. One thing perhaps to point out, I tried to build a two-lane track because it isn't so much more expensive to add an extra track. It's ridiculously expensive, cost almost 2 millions, more than 2 millions to build a track over here, but to add an extra one wasn't more than 500,000, so at least I wanted that. But then what to do with the supply depots? I didn't really pay too much attention into that. So I had to set it all the way here, and then it actually blocks here. One train would be so long that if it comes out here and then stands here to resupply, the other train wouldn't be able to get in there before this train was finished refueling. Might cause for some delay, and that wouldn't be so much of a problem here because there aren't that many trains. But if I now were to place a supply depot somewhere really dumb, like here, for example, this would cause for delays, or even worse here, all these tracks would then be stopped if one were to refill at this place because it's too close to the grid irons over there. Further on, this circle here, the Holyhead circle, it isn't here. It wouldn't be possible, or it wouldn't be doable to build a 8-lane in here, and then to have 4 lanes coming in each direction, up and down like this. There would have to be just 4, but then I wanted to, for all the others in this system circle, Birmingham, Oxford, Bristol, Swansea, Liverpool, to be part of a proper 4-lane, or else they wouldn't be having too much, enough capacity. They're already going red and yellow. There's no stopping the passengers there. So then one more little circle, a circle inside the big circle, and then to have this extra here, and also to build upon a little, when I first had this point here, to have a hotel here, and then to transfer some passengers from that circle over there, and then directly to Birmingham. Doing more and more of this crisscrossing, one can come up with all kind of things. And then there would be enough passengers pretty much whatever you do. And then this one expanded into a 4-track. Kept the little one. The little one in the middle is much less traffic and much quicker, so it doesn't need so many trains. And then one extra into Cambridge from Dover, and then expand upon this now that there's one from Dover into Birmingham, and the double set going to Bristol and then to Plymouth. So then 8 lanes, 3 different tracks coming out from Dover. Dover, it would be hard to connect to any proper system in circles. Then you just have to stuff a lot of trains down there in which direction. Pretty much like with Miami, for example, on the American map. We'll also have to just bring a lot of trains down there. In order to properly grow York, I had to just put up extra lines there. Some of these are now just standing and waiting because these are there's too little supply here. So 2 trains now, one going directly to York because that was a problem with growing that city. It wasn't so easy because we had too little resources. I didn't really upgrade many resources or buy resources because I rather wanted to expand quickly. To build this express line and such, and to grow Edinburgh, we didn't need to build an express line. I just had to build the track, and then as immediately as I put a train on that was less than 45 days, then I had the mission objective achieved. So then we were only growing Edinburgh, which was coming along nice after some time. But then with Edinburgh and such, important thing to point out that it was already supplied by meat and cloth by our competitor. So that sort of helped it along. And then I wouldn't have to supply it with that much, and it sort of came on a bit easier. I wanted to show off this, that Thameson is now looking really good now with trains coming back and forth, and to marvel at some of these graphics and inheritance. Yes, I usually sell my inheritance. I'm not into the stock market thing. I'm into transport systems. That's what I enjoy the most. But it's nice that there are so many cool aspects with the game. Other things to to get into, one can start speculating here on this these things and such. And of course, transport usually goes up a lot because I do a lot of transporting. But if I were to buy industries and such, then the industry would bump up. Looking at the industry quickly, a good idea to go through all of these and to see that they all are running. It doesn't matter so much if they are ours or private or competitors. The most important thing is that they are running, contributing to our cities. They're all ours, not his and mine and they. And I do not own the cities. They are democratic cities governed by a democratically elected governor most of the time, or somebody else, but at least not me or the competitor. I just build the train station there and make the money from it. Important to look at the utilization and such of our own industries. Yeah, we had time to buy up a lot of this. Distilleries and such, make sure that they are running properly. This is a very good distillery. Perhaps we should bump that up a couple of them to grow a bit, but then, and to combine this with the flow of goods and to see that everybody is getting what they need and that they're not only connected, but that there also is enough supply. Like with here, there's a lot of nice cities connected, but they're not getting what they need because it's being eaten up along the way. Harris Plymouth's not getting anything at all, so one might go in there and put up an extra thing at the warehouse. Warehouses, in the beginning, they usually just export these basic natural resources, but later on there will be more emphasis on these resources there, because then the demands for these basic resources will be so great that they cannot really be transported a long distance. There will have to be short or dedicated lines that will become more and more later. And then last look, say at the trains, important to name them nicely. There come a lot of lines there and such, and then to have it all in a sort of a system, repeating system. Holyhead Oxford 2, going in the opposite direction. Mostly using the Rogers Magoo still, achieving express statuses on that train. Taking care that there's not too much incline. If express status is not achieved, it might be better to be try to remake the line into becoming smoother, particularly not too high incline, because if the trains are then full, and often they will be, and then they will be slowing down a lot. Also might be slowing down a bit around the gridirons and the supply depots. Well, then and the blackmail. At this point I can just buy my way out, but usually I would just say that
Lucky you. The
I
blackmailer tried to
don't
turn their threat
react
into
well
reality,
to blackmail.
but
I
was
don't
caught
pay
in
off
time by your security
blackmailers.
personnel.
Yeah, caught in time. That's the better. Well, but then I guess that pretty much sums it all up. One can feel free to like and subscribe and leave some comments.